Hello and welcome to the Bold Unstoppable Show. I am Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson, known as the Queen of Feeling Fabulous. And I can't thank you all enough for tapping in. I know I have some brave, bold, beautiful, unstoppable queens out there listening to us today and watching us, but I also have those same brave, bold, and unstoppable queens in the studio with me today. And our topic that we're going to be discussing is owning your voice, women, activism, and social justice. And so, as your host, and stepping into what I like to call the fire of truth, the heart of purpose, and the power of your voice. And ladies, it is time for us to lift our voices. This month, we're lifting the lid on what it means to stand in your truth and speak up for yourself, your sisters, and the world. And the theme, owning your voice, women, activism, and social justice. Because here's the truth, ladies, kings, queens, whoever's listening to us out in this beautiful world and viewing us. When women speak, the world listens. When we rise, things shift. And when we tell the truth, we dismantle systems that were never built to support us. So today, our panelists are not just powerful women, they are truth tellers, change makers, and warriors for justice. We'll explore the journeys behind their activism, their challenges they face, the voices they found, and the movements they're leading. This episode tonight is about courage. It's about advocacy. It's about disrupting silence and building a future that's more just, more inclusive, and more free. So let's get into it, Queens, because your voice is not just needed, and it's non-negotiable. So, ladies, tonight I'm going to start with Dr. Laura. And why don't you introduce yourself to the audience and the viewers?
Awesome. Thanks so much. So my name is Dr. Laura Schutz. You can just call me Laura or Schutz. I'm an emergency physician from just west of Toronto in Ontario, and I'm the founder of Take Care. Take Care is an online platform that helps the user to get completely organized for all of the things their family's going to need to know if they get suddenly ill and hospitalized or they reach end of life. So it's a topic that the world needs to be more open to talking about. And that's, my mission. One of the big things I'm on today is talking about Take Care.
Love it. And so, Carrie West, tell us about you.
I'm Carrie West. Thank you for having me here, and thank you to the other panelists for joining this conversation. I'm an author. I wrote a book called Life Rewritten, and that has led me to the Rewritten series, where I challenge every message that we're given in media, in life, from families, from wherever we get them. And activism, social activism, is a big part of that. It's shifting the message, it's shifting the way we respond in the world, and it's encouraging everyone to use their voices to stand up and be heard.
Well, welcome to the show, Carrie. It's a pleasure to have you. Now, Raven, tell us about you.
Hi, everyone. Also, yes, thank you, everyone, for being so welcoming. My name is Raven O'Neill. I am a 5-time startup founder. I currently operate 4 projects. All 4 projects are focused on helping rise, and where women rise, the markets follow.
Oh, I love it. Well, welcome, Raven. It looks like we have one more panelist that has joined us. Jasmine, welcome to the Bold Unstoppable Show. I think you have some feedback. Okay, tell us who you are and where you are within 20 seconds.
My name is Jasmine Dennis. I'm out of Toronto, Canada. Just going to plug there that we're on our way to the World Series. And I am the founder of JASD Health and Wellness, also the creator of the Burnout Pie Framework, and as also a certified herbalist. And what I do, I help.
Welcome to the show. We're going to get into our topic of discussion. And I'm not sure, but we're getting a little bit of feedback. But anyway, I want to start with the first question, ladies. If you are not talking, can you mute yourself, please? Thank you. I think that's going to help with the feedback. Okay, ladies, I appreciate you. Let's begin. When did you first realize your voice had power, and how did that realization shape your activism or advocacy? And you know what? I'm going to start with you, Carrie. What's your thoughts share with us regarding that?
I'll never forget when it started. I'm a theater fanatic, and I was in London, and I went to see a play. And one of the lines in the play was, "You have a voice, it must be heard." And I took that to heart. And I realized that there are many ways your voice can be heard, because I wasn't somebody to go and stand on top of a box and talk to the crowds. But I was a writer. I am a writer. And so using my voice, using my words, using my pen and paper, I could inspire and encourage others to use their voices. And again, your voice doesn't have to be a spoken thing. It can be in your artwork. It can be in whatever creative endeavor you have. But that's what inspired me, and I haven't shut up since. I keep talking and I keep writing. So I think it's really important that everybody knows that's part of our journey, is to speak up, however that way is for you.
Love it. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Jasmine, if you would be so kind to mute yourself, please. We're getting feedback from you.
Me?
Yes.
Okay, I will see how I can mute that. Am I still, is there still a feedback?
Yeah, because you're not muted.
Okay, I'm going to, just a second here.
We're going to continue on.
So, sorry about this.
Okay, ladies. So, there. I think we've got that that problem solved. Okay, so I want to ask Dr. Laura, with regards to activism, it comes in many forms. And first of all, I want to say thank you for the work that you do in the emergency room, because I am a registered nurse with 35 years background as an emergency room trauma and flight nurse. And so I appreciate you being on the front lines. I do not do clinical practice, as I retired a few years ago from that. But
good for you. We could have some chats.
Oh, yes, we could. And my in the San Francisco Bay Area, so I've got we could definitely share some stories.
Wow.
But I'm digressing. Okay, so let me get back on track. With regards to activism, and it comes in many forms. We sometimes have to deal with that when we're in the emergency department or emergency settings. How do you personally define activism, and what does it look like in your day-to-day life?
Well, that's a good question. So, I mean, activism, a lot of it, the thing that comes to mind immediately as a gut reaction is, it's doing what's right. And in the ER, we see so many injustices, unfortunately, right? If you've been a nurse in the emergency room, you know it. We live and breathe and see all of the inequalities in the world, face on. So often it's a daily part of the emergency room, is seeing the social injustices that exist in the world. And so, being a part of activism is not just talking the talk, but walking the walk, and having your actions follow your words, right? So it's really easy to talk about things and say we should do things, but it's completely different, to go out and do them. And I'm a big believer that, actions speak louder than words. I was raised in a household with that being the mantra, and I try to live it today, right? Like, it's one thing to just say something, but it's completely different to just live that and show your actions, and not just, speak about things, but actually live that and act on it.
I love it. I love that. We've got to take a quick break, but we'll be right back in just a few moments to the Bold Unstoppable show, where we're talking about activism and social justice. Stay tuned. All righty, welcome back to the Bold Unstoppable show. I have a fabulous group of panelists with me today, and we're discussing owning your voice women activism and social justice. And so I want to continue on with this question of activism coming in many forms. And I want to ask Raven, I want to ask you the same question I asked Dr. Laura. How do you personally define activism, and what does it look like in your day-to-day scenario?
Yeah, thank you for this question. I'm going to agree that it is doing the right thing, but I think activism sometimes shows up in people's lives. They think it's big movements. So they get stuck in I'm not making a difference if I make big, bold movements. And activism can be little tiny things in your everyday. So for me, the older I get, the less I care about people's opinions and what they're going to think of me for making decisions. And so I've gotten really good at being louder and just calling things out. I had one on LinkedIn the other day where someone had referred to, the ACA is Obamacare. And I just said, can we stop doing that? It's confusing people. So it's using your voice to say what you think is right. And yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And you know what? In fact, you use your voice to actually not only say what's right, but to correct someone when they're saying or referring to something that's incorrect and is wrong, right? So sometimes it can be uncomfortable, but as Dr. Laura well knows, is in the situation in the emergency department, we deal with a lot of things that are very uncomfortable. And sometimes it's the fact that we use our voice that allows our patients to be comfortable using their voice with us. And so it's a beautiful give and take relationship. It doesn't have to be one-sided. Everyone has opinions and things that they need to share, but anyways, it's women stepping into their grace and should never be afraid to use your voice. And that's my soapbox. I'm sticking with it. Now let me ask this question, and have any of you ever faced resistance or any kind of fear or backlash for speaking up? And if so, how did you navigate it? And what would you suggest to others? And I was gonna open up with Jasmine, but since she's not on camera, I'm going to go back to you, Dr. Laura. What would you, how would you answer that question?
Yeah, sure. So, thinking like the first thing that popped into my head was the pandemic, and when I was the president of our medical staff association at the time, which means I oversaw all of the physicians, dentists, midwives at our hospital, and I took on the role in 2019, and then we all know March 2020 was the pandemic, right? So here I am, trying to advocate for change in things that should just seem common sense, like getting masks. It was an extremely tense time in the hospital. And
Yeah.
I was really trying to advocate for not just physicians, but all staff to have something as simple as a mask. And it was like burnout material, right? Like you are really struggling to advocate for simple things that the world is not used to, and we don't have a supply for what's right. We didn't have enough masks for everybody. And so the policies that were being made were frankly crazy, in my opinion, at the time. When we had a very new virus, we didn't know what we were dealing with, and we knew we needed to protect not just doctors, but nurses, clerks, PSWs. Everybody deserved a mask, And so I was up against a ton of resistance trying to advocate for this, which was just mind blowing to me that, healthcare workers and the healthcare system was so, against this, but for the wrong reason. And it was because we didn't have enough masks, and my reason was we need to get more and find a way to get more and find a way to change the way we're doing things so that people can be safe, and trying to advocate for stuff like that, using masks as an example, was a really, really challenging, challenging thing to go through, but you just have to toe the line,
Exactly. It's like something that's so basic, that's a necessity, because you're a public health advocate. And if you can't protect yourself, how in the heck can you be a good public advocate to protect the masses of people that people, patients, sick people, really sick people that have chronic illnesses coming in, and you can't protect yourself, so you darn sure can't protect them. And because they're weakened, they're so it's like this. I remember,
Yep.
so I became a nurse during the time when they didn't even have a name for HIV or anything. So it's dating myself.
Yeah.
But the simple things of the same thing with the mask was now we were having to wear gloves because you didn't know blood or body fluid connection, so to speak. And so it's very interesting how basically some of the issues we face as women and in society are reciprocated. It's like a cycle, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it repeats itself. And I want to say every 100+ years, maybe 100, 120 years, we're having to advocate for stuff that we've already advocated for in the past. It's crazy, particularly as women.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I got to take a quick break, but we'll be right back to the Bold Unstoppable show in just a few moments. And if you haven't subscribed, any woman out there watching this, you should be subscribing to the show. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
I could have rambled on forever on that question.
Oh, I agree. Hey, welcome back to the Bold Unstoppable show. We are having a good time and just really enjoying our conversation tonight with regards to the topic of owning your voice, women, activism, and social justice. So I want to also ask this question again. Have you ever faced resistance, fear, or backlash for speaking up? And how did you navigate through it? Carrie, share us some words of wisdom with regards to that.
Well, I think it's a common issue right now in the States. I don't know if it's the same in Canada or anywhere else, but people are afraid to say something that they believe in for fear of backlash. And that is on all sides of the aisles or the political spectrum. I had a personal thing happen because there's such an issue around housing and the affordability of housing. And it was getting frustrating because during the pandemic, if we want to keep on that vein, I had a condo in Los Angeles and my tenant didn't have to pay rent because Los Angeles put on a moratorium and you couldn't evict anyone for paying rent. So when I brought it up and talked about it, I was called a greedy landlord who was living off the backs of my tenant. I had this beautiful condo in Beverly Hills, California, and I couldn't charge rent for it. And I'll never forget the backlash. Oh my God. People kept making comments about how, oh, no affordable houses. Oh my God. And when I said, well, hold on a second, what about the landlord? Oh, you're getting your mortgage paid off of the back of your tenant. And I said, can we not have a conversation? And I put this on one of my posts. When can we start having a conversation without having to attack each other? I don't care if it's about politics. I don't care if it's about housing. I mean, people just jump in and attack so quickly. So quickly.
Yeah.
You have an opinion and you're, which means people are going to shut up. Nobody wants to get attacked. So how are you going to get the courage to speak up when if you say, I don't like that store, everybody jumps on you. Oh, that's the best store. You're just being ridiculous.
You're right. It's
attacked for an opinion.
It's very interesting. We all know we're not going to always agree. People are going to have different opinions. And even when they maybe agree about the same topic, the way why they agree about it may be completely different. I mean, that's just human nature. We're all different, right? Collectively, when we come together, it's a beautiful thing, but we have different lifestyles, different backgrounds, different things that play into to our current reality, even though there may be things way in the past, we don't realize it. And so when you speak up and you speak your truth and you get attacked for it, it becomes crazy, because how I view it may not be how you view it, but it doesn't mean that it's wrong. It just may not be how you view things for you. And so I agree. I don't know how we figure that out. And it's not just between men and women. It's between women and women as well. And so this is all about, like, just get it together, ladies. We can't change things if we don't stand in solidarity. We don't have to agree, but we have to stand in solidarity. It's particularly when it's important and it related to our gender.
Yeah, and I think it's important that we remember to be kind and to not attack each other. I know. Just because I have a different opinion. I am not evil incarnate because I have a different opinion. And luckily I don't take it. I just look at these people and think how sad. But there are a lot of people out there who have something wonderful to say and to add to the conversation, but they're terrified because they get attacked, especially on social media.
Yeah, which is why you shouldn't post anything like that on social media, unfortunately, because you're speaking your truth, but we all know everybody that is out there is not sane, and everybody on social media is not sane either, and it's not saying nothing negative. It's just the way life is. Everybody in the world is not sane, but some of those choices and those conversations can lead to bad things for others, and so if it gets to that point where it just goes beyond a comfortability level, then it might be time just to silence yourself. And but that's a shame, because we shouldn't have to do that. We have to take another quick break, ladies. We'll be right back to the Bold Unstoppable Show in just a few moments. Alrighty, welcome back to the Bold Unstoppable Show, where we're dialoguing about owning your voice, women, activism, and social justice. And so my next question that I have for you all, and I'm going to have Raven start the answer for this question, is: what issue or cause lights a fire in your soul, and why is this cause or issue so very personal to you? Raven.
Oh man, that's a loaded question. Like, where do I start? Probably at the top of my list would be the stripping of women's rights at the moment. I mean, you mentioned like how it keeps things come around and we have to fight for it again, and things change, but they don't change enough. This is one it leaves me at a loss. I cannot wrap my head around how we can go that far back that quickly. And so it's one I tend to have a lot of conversations about.
Ooh, girl, that's a subject, for me as well. It just, as my grandma used to say, grab my craw. It just grabs my craw that women don't understand, particularly those that are taking and agreeing that we should be 175 years back. That women died for us to have the right to choose what we want to do in our lives and with our bodies. Women died for us to have the right to vote. Women died for us to be able to go work outside the house. So some of these things are so bewildering to me. We should have all say so in what we do with our body. And it may not agree with you. We can't tell the other sex what to do with their body and how they should not do things. But yeah, I'm very passionate, as you can tell. So
yeah, it's crazy.
I want to jump in on this one. It's all good.
I know. I have a teenage daughter. She will, if things continue, end up with less rights than I had. Like, that's insane to me. Like, that's not. Yeah. That is, again, we're not progressing. We're backtracking. It's just crazy.
Right. Yeah. It really is. It really is disheartening to see, what's happening. And, I see, they say if you kick the door open a little bit, a bee will fly in. But if you leave the door open wide enough, a swarm of bees will fly in. And that's exactly what I see is happening in our rights, whether it's a right to choose to do what we want to do with our body, what, where we want to get a job, how we want to get a job, whatever it is, because I foresee that all of that is slowly going to be dwindling away. And, I told one friend of mine, I said, you know what? Pretty soon, and I hope I don't see it in my lifetime, but there's going to be a time where women will not be able to leave the house alone without an escort. It's going to go all the way back to that, because if we don't stop it now, it's not going to stop, and it's going to get more complicated and worse. And I can't understand why women are so willing to give up what so many died for us to have. That's just mind-boggling to me. Okay, so we've only got just a few more minutes for this show, but I want to ask this question, and thank you, Raven, for being vulnerable and sharing that. What lights up your soul, because I think it should be lighting up every woman's soul on this planet. The dialogue we're having about our topic tonight. So now I'm going to ask, what role does storytelling play in social justice work, and how have you used your own story to inspire or create change? And I'm going to have you start with this, Dr. Laura.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think storytelling is like a huge way to really bring light to issues. And it's something I use all the time when telling people the importance of planning ahead, right? So, I have so many stories. I've stood at the foot of the bed way too many times of families just completely shattered by a moment, they never planned or expected would happen. And so, telling stories about the experiences I've had in my professional life and even my personal life with end of life, and how people are so deeply impacted by it when there isn't planning ahead. I won't bore you with all the stories, but I think it's super important, and it really is a great way to bring light to the issues we see, in the world, is by giving examples and things that are relatable. People can, quickly catch on with that and feel the emotions when you give, concrete examples through storytelling, though. I think it's something that I do all the time, and I think it really resonates with people, and it's important to, share these examples and share these stories to, allow people to see what's really happening in the world.
Yeah, I agree. I think storytelling is a fabulous way because it helps people connect and relate to the story. If you just tell them sometimes information they can't, it's unrelatable. But if you tell a story about the information you want to share, it becomes relatable, and they can see themselves in the story oftentimes, particularly with the end of life stuff. That's so important. I wish we had more time. We may have to just do a show on that. But it's so important because there's so many people that are not prepared for end of life stuff. And so, a story, it has to change the mind, right, and the world.
Exactly. You tell somebody like, listen, this happened to my spouse's uncle, passed away. The priest didn't even know his name at the funeral. The family had all this conflict about medical decisions for him because they were sharing roles as POAs, and they were already super stressed out, versus his brother, who had an incredible celebration of life with a taco truck and a band and, all of these things that really represented who he was, and using those examples really allows people to see the difference, and so stories definitely can really quickly bring to light some issues for people, can highlight social injustices, but can also tell them about things, how they can be better through examples.
Yeah, that was beautiful. That was a beautiful example because it was definitely a comparison and contrast, but so visual that you can oh yeah, oh dang, oh wow, yeah, you know what I mean? Oh,
yeah, yes, the power of examples and storytelling. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Great example. Okay, ladies, I think I've got time for maybe one more question, and this question is this. Women often juggle the weight of being seen as too much when they speak up. How do you stay grounded in your truth when the world tries to silence or soften your voice. And we'll start with you, Carrie, and then I want you, Raven, and as well as you, Dr. Laura, to address this as well. So Carrie, give it to us.
Well, this ties into your previous question. I'm a storyteller. I worked in the film industry. And those stories need to show women using their voices. Again, whether it be verbally, however you're expressing it, it could be through dance. But however you express the emotions you're feeling, we have to do that. And we have to be brave and have the courage. It will be, you could face backlash, but know there's support. Know there are tons of support out there for you to share your voice. It's important. We have to do it.
I love it. What about you, Raven? What are your thoughts?
I love that, because I feel finding your voice comes with addressing all of the way you were raised, your trauma, everything is all encompassing. And I feel, for me, on my own podcast, I've had several authors on this year, 4 total, and all 4 addressed voice in some manner in all these different ways. And I feel like that work it's so important to say the thing, both for your own sanity and for other people to learn. It's like the storytelling everyone's talked about. The storytelling and finding your voice and speaking your truth is how we carry the torch. It's how we continue the conversation. So I don't even remember that one you asked.
Oh, that's great. Dr. Laura, share with us your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I'm naturally just somebody that is always not shy to share my voice. And to the point that it probably gets me in trouble sometimes. And I think people who are struggling with sharing your voice or softening your voice, surrounding yourself with others who can let you, raise up that voice and who can share with you the same opinions, that it's okay to speak up, especially when something's not right. That's one of the biggest things that I struggle with is, not struggle with, maybe I'm good at, is not keeping my trap shut. If there's some kind of injustice I'm seeing or some kinds of major obvious problem, you're going to hear me talk about it. And I'm going to speak up while I'm sitting on a committee or whatever, and it's easier to do when you're surrounded by women who support you when you're doing that, right? So if you're sitting on a committee and somebody else has the courage to speak up about something, like, support them. Don't soften their voice, like, support that conversation, because it's super, super hard to stick your neck out there and, lift up your voice, especially in a room sometimes of suits or, men, to be blunt. So I think we all need to support each other so we can have these voices.
I love it. So I definitely speak up. I've been speaking up since I was a little girl and got in many a trouble for using my voice. Many a trouble. However, I believe that journey as a little girl and getting, as they say, you're tan, your hide tanned. It never softened my voice, and it's almost like I can't not say what I need to say and speak my truth. And so fast forward, that voice has helped me to stand out and speak in the world and be powerful and support and uplift other women, other men, other races. The voice has allowed me to serve on a board of directors where I was the only female. And it was a healthcare organization in California. I was the only female, and I served on that board of directors for 25 years, thinking if they get comfortable with just me as a woman, more women would come. And I did not hold back my voice on that board of directors. So I think some people are just, I don't want to say outspoken, but we don't have a problem speaking up. And we don't often mind the backlash. Sometimes we know we're going to get it, but we do it anyways, right? Because you never know who your words will help and transform someone else's life. You never know. Some of us are very good at saying what we have to say, and it comes out refined and delivered, esteemed and perfectly. And the person don't even know that they've been we said the same thing, but it was given to them such a nice manner that they received it. And some people, learn to do that. And so I think it's just powerful and important for us to never, no matter where you are on that spectrum, to never stop using your voice. It is one of the most powerful things that we have, that we can change and transform the lives of others. And so never let anyone silence you. Always speak your truth, right? Support another sister. Don't let that sister take a hit by herself, especially if you know she's right. And even if you don't, it's okay. You can pull her aside and say, girl, you probably shouldn't have said that or did that or whatever. But don't belittle her in front of the male species, particularly, because they take that information and they actually end up utilizing it against us, even though they say they don't. They do. We know they do. But I guess the point I'm making is it's important. Your voice is important. Your thoughts, your opinions, all of that is important. And when we can learn to do that and come together in solidarity, then we become change agents to make the world a better place. My last question for the evening is, if your voice had the power to shift one thing in the world right now, what would you speak into existence? And let's start with you, Raven.
I am so sorry. This has gone just a little bit over, and I actually have to jump.
No worries.
My son has soccer playoffs, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to get out the door to get to it.
No worries. We'll take care of your family.
Yes, you ladies, I'm sure can wrap it up. Thank you for the invite. Ladies, have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Take good care.
Thank you.
All right, Carrie, let's have you answer that question for us.
I'd end the divisiveness. I'd build acceptance in the world. We used to accept each other, no matter who you. When I was growing up, I grew up in the 60s, so I know about civil rights and a lot of the battles. But we were together as a country, and we didn't turn our backs on the rest of the world. And what's going on now, I don't like that. So that's where I would focus my efforts.
All right. And you, Dr. Laura?
Man, I have a laundry list of things, but I'm going to go with the first thing that popped into my head because I'm an athlete. I like to play sports as well. And, you know, you watch the women's soccer team battle for equal pay for women. And it's something that I would love to see in the world is this gender pay gap completely dissolve, you know, and women have the same treatment and pay as men are across the world. Because I think, you know, equal pay, equal work.
Exactly. I love it. Oh my gosh, what a wonderful conversation we've had, and the voices that we heard. I'm sorry, I've got this thing I'm wearing on my arm and it just fell off. But anyways, what a great conversation. Ladies, thank you so much. Queens, what we witnessed today wasn't just a conversation, it was a catalyst. The courage, the clarity, the conviction shared in this space is a reminder that your voice is so very powerful. Not just your speaking voice, but your written words, your presence in rooms that weren't built for you, your refusal to stay silent when it matters most. As women, especially women from all diverse backgrounds, we have been told for far too long to be quiet, to be small, to not rock the boat. But we were never meant to sit and be silent. We were born to rise, to roar, and to reform. And my queens, owning your voice isn't a privilege, it's your divine right. To my fearless panelists that were very brave, bold, and unstoppable this evening, thank you for showing us how to speak the truth, lead with love, and push for justice, even when it's uncomfortable. You've inspired a ripple of power that will echo far beyond our conversation this evening. And to you out there listening, watching us, our radiant audience, don't underestimate the revolution that begins with your voice. Whether you raise it in the boardroom, a ballot box, a classroom, or around the kitchen table, it really does matter. I'm Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson, your queen of feeling fabulous. And this has been another transformational episode of the Bold, Unstoppable Show. Until next time, raise your voice, Hold your crown high, queens, and never, ever, ever, never, ever, ever forget the world changes when you speak. And until next time, take good care and be brave, bold, and unstoppable. Good night.